Money doesn't buy happiness is a quote that I used to hear all the time growing up, and I always thought that that's what poor people used to tell themselves to make themselves feel good and just to accept mediocrity and being average. But I'm here to say that money can change people, and money has changed me and my friend Angelo, who you're about to meet in a second. And here's exactly how.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Andrei. What's yours?
I'm Angelo.
You want to see a trick?
Yeah.
Check it out. Dollar, chapstick. Look, I'm gonna try to penetrate the dollar with the chapstick. Look, 3, 2.
Whoa!
Isn't that crazy?
No way.
What? I'm trying to take it out.
Yo.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? And look, it's sealed. It's still normal.
Whoa, wanna be friends?
Yeah. That's how we met, and we just recreated that scene. But remember when you were a kid, and that's how you made friends? You just walk up to somebody and you'd be like, hey, you want to be friends?
It's so weird. You can't even do that nowadays as adults. Like, it's so creepy, right?
Yeah. You want to come over? Has nothing to do with the video. I just wanted to make a cool intro and reintroduce my friend Angelo. You may have seen him in some of my other videos. We grew up literally here, and I rented this hotel room, which turned into a timeshare basically. Just kind of wanted to recreate our childhood and tell you this story. So first, before watching this video, I just want to say that there's a warning to this video, because if you watch this video all the way through, you're gonna come to some sort of realization, but it's gonna do one of two things for you. Either you're gonna be better with money by the end of this video and you're gonna understand something true about money and true about this world, or you're gonna realize something else and it's gonna make you completely unmotivated to continue working at all. So that's the danger. But if you watch this video all the way through, I think it's gonna help you see what money's really all about and how money changed us. So Angela, how has money changed you and I? Because we're immigrants, and I've known you since you were 4 years old. I was 9 years old. We were both working here technically illegally. My mom was. Your mom was.
Yeah.
You're a DACA member. You actually worked illegally here. You weren't even allowed to drive.
Yeah, dude. I started working when I was in high school. You know, I took like 4-hour bus rides to get to work. I was working illegally with a fake social security card, you know, just to work a 4-hour shift to make like $8, $9 an hour. And
I hope this doesn't come back to bite us. He worked here illegally. Let's deport him.
You gotta blur out my face. You gotta like muzzle down my voice.
He's legal now. He's legal now. Let's just establish this. He's doing all right.
So I'm a DACA recipient now and everything. So I do have a work permit that's really real and that
it's
is
real
acceptable. Yeah.
Okay, so that pushed you then to work really hard to earn this dream that we're all told to go be a doctor and be a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Because you're Asian and your mom obviously wants you to do good.
You know, strict Asian parents. You got to make this amount of money.
Yeah.
You know how it is. And
we can all relate through that.
Yeah.
That was like the most stressful point in my life. And I'm sure in your life too. Like,
it was. I think it was trying to find the balance of like, what can I do something that I love while trying to make my parents proud, right? So it's just like,
yeah. And if you're in college, if you're going through the same thing, just know you'll get through it. But for me, it was like the most difficult moment in my life. Trying to please my mom, trying to please my dad, trying to please myself, trying to figure out where I stand in life. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go be a doctor and be a lawyer? I don't want to do that. But if you are a doctor or a lawyer, much respect. Society respects you. We love you.
We respect you.
You're amazing.
We respect you.
No, it's a really tough path. And if you've gotten there, that's an incredible thing that you've accomplished. But we were told to do that same thing. As immigrants, that's what you have to do. And for those who don't know, Angelo is actually my roommate, and I see him have so many shoes, and I'm like, dude, how many shoes do you need? Why do you have so many shoes?
Growing up, I always collected shoes. I collected shoes ever since I was like in 6th grade.
Right.
Huge collection. It got to the point where I didn't know what to do with it. So I couldn't get any scholarships or any grants or anything. The only way was to pay for college was to get loans. And I didn't want to be buried in loans and like be in debt, right? So I had all these shoes, so I sold all my shoes. I sold my shoe collection for like $40,000-$50,000.
40 or 50,000. What?
Yeah, I think that was like back in 2010. So I think now it's probably worth like 150, 100,000. Yeah.
Jesus. 50 grand for shoes.
So that was me as a kid, I guess, was investing on myself without even knowing it.
Little entrepreneur.
Yeah, I remember I used to like save my lunch money and then like just buy a shoe that I don't even want, but I know other people want it, so I would flip it to make more money and get the shoe I want.
I was just hustling people for Pokemon cards.
Yeah, he used to hustle me a lot because I used to get like the really good cards. I used to be like, yeah, you know, that card's all right, man. I'll trade you for this, and I'll be like, okay, and then we traded, and he'd be like, nah, this card's amazing.
Yeah,
every single time.
That's true. That's how I got your Yatagarasu card.
Yeah,
I remember you were like, oh, this card only has 200 attack. That sucks. And I'm like, I'll take it. I don't think it's good either, but I'll trade it.
I would get like these cards like randomly. Like I met a kid randomly on like the city bus, and I would trade him a card, and I would get this like, I'd be like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool, Andrei. Like check out this card.
To be fair though, Angelo would get jacked 9 out of 10 times. Like the next week he'd be like, someone stole my card.
Because I was such a trusting kid though. Like I was so trusting. Like I was so innocent. Like you know me. Like I talk to everybody, so I want to be friends with everybody. So.
Yeah, he would just always people would steal stuff from him, whether it was his video games, whether it was Pokemon cards.
Gosh.
I was like, I'll take them off your hands, man. No one's gonna steal them from me. So after you sold your shoe collection, you used that basically to fund college. Because I remember I went to college, but I just worked a ton of summer jobs. I saved up. I had one scholarship, was the Millennium Scholarship here in Vegas, and I couldn't even keep it because I couldn't keep my grades at 3.0. So I totally dropped out. It like broke my mom's heart, and all I was doing college for was just to please my mom.
Yeah, like the same way. I went to college, I was a bio major, dude. Like I had no interest whatsoever to like a science and everything, but I wanted to become a doctor because that's where the money is at.
Yeah, this kid is a natural networker. He will network with anyone and sell you anything.
So, yeah, exactly. So my high school teachers were like, what are you going to college for? And I was
even your teachers knew. You were like, no, dude, you're not a doctor. You are a business person.
Yeah, but I was like, no, it's cool. Like, that's where the money's at. Like, I'm gonna become rich. Like, I don't care.
And they're like, yeah, you're not gonna last though. Because they've been through it.
And I switched my major after like 3-4 semesters. And man.
I mean, I wonder how many people watching this video right now are maybe at that exact moment in their life that are going to college, no idea what they're going for. They're just going to please their mom or their dad, and they're having this major that they probably absolutely hate. I bet there's somebody out there who's going through that. And I remember for me, that was the most stressful moment of my life because I was torn. Like I had to decide, do I want to do the job, which I held for almost 10 years, which is how I was building my Robinhood portfolio. And that's the job I had at the time. I wasn't making really anything at the time, but I was like, oh, I'm doing this now. I'm doing what I love. Or do I continue going to school and paying so much for all these books and all these classes?
Yeah.
And I was torn. I'm sure it was the same for you. Like, what do I do? I don't know if I want to do this.
No, exactly. I remember I was in those classes and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'd rather be working. I'd rather be like doing something, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess that's that stage, like you said, where we're finding ourselves and everything. Right. But we still got great grades and everything. Because if we didn't, our parents would be like, whoo!
You get beat.
My mom would tell me, don't come home.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
And then when you found that success, that's kind of what changed everything after college.
Yeah, like for me, when I found that success or that, you know, white picket fence dream was when I went to Hawaii. I was like 23 years old.
Right.
I was living in a sky rise that was like $5,000-$6,000 a month. For free, paid for.
I
was right in Waikiki.
Yeah.
I can walk to the beach in 2 minutes. There was like...
How much were you earning at the time?
6 figures.
6 figures. As a 23-year-old.
Yeah, but that...
I'm walking out.
But...
I would have done anything for that job at 23.
But check this out though, that wasn't everything. The company I was in charge of was a rental, like exotic rental company. So I had...
You drove Lambos and Ferraris.
I had Ferraris, Lambos in my fleet, and I would drive them like they were my own cars, right?
And that was your dream at the time, right?
Yeah,
just
like...
to drive exotic cars.
Any person's dream at that young age, you want that nice house, you want that nice car, you want that like lavish lifestyle.
What 20-year-old watching this isn't like, I don't want to drive Ferraris and Lambos. That's not what I want to do.
There can't be any like 21 or 22 like that age that doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like when you picture that, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be like 40 years old. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah, and you got to do that as a 23-year-old.
Yeah, so I had all these things that I always thought that would make me happy, that true success.
Right.
And I was so unhappy, man.
Well, for me, and I think every person has that thing that they chase, that unicorn, and it's like this childhood dream or whatever it is, this idea that we have in our head. And for me, it was this thing that I got as a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I was able to get this studio, basically, where I was living at the heart and center of Las Vegas on the Strip. And I remember being in high school working at like Abercrombie and Fitch. I told myself, I was listing through this brochure and I saw these high-rise buildings. They were called Veer Towers at the time. They were just being built. They were ridiculously expensive. And I was like, someday I'm gonna live here. And I thought, I'd be like 30, 45, 50 by the time that I lived there.
I remember when we were kids, like we would walk the strip and we'd be like, one day,
we're gonna live there.
We're gonna live there.
It's crazy. I did that at like 21 years old. I started living there. I moved out of my parents' house, and I lived in this $1.5 million high-rise condo where I'm seeing the whole city. And I'm seeing all the mortals beneath my feet. I don't know.
I was one of them.
Yeah, because we didn't live together. We weren't roommates at the time. We're roommates now.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing the whole city and I was so happy for like a couple months, maybe 3 to 6 months. I was like ecstatic, and I was like, I can't believe I fulfilled my dream.
Yeah.
But very quickly, I think it forces you to ask a very basic question that any 5-year-old would ask themselves, which is like, what is money for? Because I asked myself, would I be happy without this thing? Because I'm not going to have it forever.
Yeah.
My employer gave me that place. I didn't earn it. I mean, I earned it through my job, but I didn't pay for it. Like, I could not afford it. And so I'm like, I can't get used to this, right?
We've been around so many successful people, right? So many people that have a lot of money. At the same time, we've been around people that don't have a lot of money.
Right.
And it's so crazy. Like, the people that I've been around that have a lot of money, some of them are more miserable.
They're the most miserable people you'll ever meet.
They're more miserable than the people that are barely getting by. And it's so crazy.
And every single person who is wealthy or rich or successful, every person that you'll ask, what is your favorite moment in your life? And they will almost all of them tell you one thing. It was when I was living on the sofa of my friend's house. I was dead broke, and I was going through this. Like, it's the journey of getting there. It's the process.
It's not the destination. It's the journey.
It's the journey itself, which is when I realized working my job where I was like, I'm not happy here. And this stuff, this title that I was given, this VP of whatever, and your thing, I'm sure you had some fancy title.
Yeah.
It was like the stuff that held you back.
And I feel like a lot of companies now, they give you those blur lines. They're like, oh, you're out of college? Cool. You're very smart. You have a lot of potential. Like, I'm going to use you. And by the way they use you is that, like, I'm going to give you this fancy title.
Right.
I'm going to put you in this very nice place.
Right.
And all these things. And I feel like it's a trap, too, is because they give you, like, a sense of this is success and this is what I have to maintain.
Right.
And it's a trap. So they give you all these things where you're like, if you ever want to leave the company, they're like, how are you going to afford this? Who's going to put you in the situation?
I remember when I was in ROTC, it was my military class in high school, and my instructor said, you know why they give you ranks in the military and titles and just all these insignias and all these ribbons? I was like, why? So we can take them away. And I thought that was so true and so powerful. And it's just like, they give you these titles and these things to make you feel like, well, you worked for it, you're successful, but at any moment that could be taken away.
It goes back to when we were kids. Like, remember, like, when you do something good as a kid, you get treated, right? You're like, here's a toy. But then, like, if you do something bad, you're grounded. I'm gonna take away your Xbox or your PlayStation. Right. It's the same situation.
It's the same principle, And so that realization, I'm sure for both of us, made us ask that basic question. Well, then what is money for? And that's when I think it changed everything. For the first time in my entire life, I decided to quit that job that gave me those fancy things, those fancy titles, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do the one thing, I'm gonna be selfish, and I'm gonna do one thing that I just love, and I don't care about what money I make. And that's when I quit my job. I did nothing for 2 years because I was depressed and I was just questioning every decision I ever made. But that's when I started YouTube, and that's when I did, for the first time in my life, something that made me no money at all. And then it just skyrocketed from there. And that saying is true. It's just do what you love and the money will follow, right?
Yeah, so when I came back from Hawaii, I was like so mentally like messed up. Before I do anything in life, I ask myself this one question. Am I doing it for the money, or am I doing it because I want to do it? And if it's for the money, unless it's like a really good amount of money, because everybody has their price, right?
Everybody has a price, I
won't do it, right? Because I feel like you should be passionately driven in life. You know, like I always tell people, there are chefs out there that are making millions of dollars, and there's chefs out there that are making $8-10 an hour flipping burgers at McDonald's. What's the difference of the two?
Right.
One's passionate about it, and the other one's doing it for the money.
Ooh, deep. I
right?
like that. Deep,
Quote that. Quote that.
And success is different for everybody,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. So,
like for me, it's 400,000 subscribers. I'm done. Like,
see ya.
Peace out, world. I'm done.
Yeah, like success to me, I think is ultimate freedom, right? It's freedom to do anything you want to do at any time.
Well, success is for sure. It's freedom. Period. End of story. But it means different things for everybody. Freedom for you may be different from freedom for me.
Indeed.
For me, like investing and having my dividends and my money work for me passively to be paid, that's what it means to be free. And that's what it means to have freedom, to be able to pursue what you really love. But for other people, it might be the ability to live in Hawaii and drive Lambos or whatever it is. Like, what is it for you?
Ultimately, I just want to travel the world. I want to see and eat everything. I want to share the world with everybody.
Right, there we go. That's a different thing than mine. You just want to eat. I just want to, I don't know,
chips.
sleep.
Give me all the chips.
Give him all the chips. That's what he wants. Yeah. So anytime I'm collaborating with somebody, or anytime I talk to somebody about money or whatever it is, ever since I was a kid, and even to this day, the one question that I'll always ask them is, besides like, what do you do for a living, and how much money do you make? Because I'm just taboo like that, and that's what I do.
Right to the point.
Right, man. I remember being a kid, being on the bus, and I'm like, so what do you do? And they took such offense to that. Just like,
bro, I'm just asking you a simple question.
No, I don't mean anything by it. No, but I was saying is, how has money changed you? Because I think everybody has this money story, and maybe you haven't had yours yet, but I promise, and I'm telling you now,
you will.
You will. And when you find it, you're gonna come to the exact same realization. And the most important part is what you do after that. What are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna just revel in your depression like I did for a few years? That's okay if you do, but you could just take that and use that as fuel to motivate you to do what you're ultimately passionate about, to create value for others, and whatever, start that YouTube channel or do whatever it is that you wanna do. What's your money story? I wanna know. Peace out.